SAS is a stylesheet language initially designed by Hampton Catlin and developed by Natalie Weizenbaum. After its initial versions, Weizenbaum and Chris Epstein have continued to extend SAS with SAS Script, a simple scripting language used in SAS files. SAS is a scripting language that is interpreted into cascading stylesheets. SAS Script is the scripting language itself. SAS consists of two syntaxes. The original syntax, called the indented syntax, uses a syntax similar to Ham. It uses indentation to separate code blocks and newline characters to separate rules. The newer syntax, SCSS, uses block formatting like that of CSS. It uses braces to denote code blocks and semicolons to separate lines within a block. The indented syntax and SCSS files are traditionally given the extensions SAS and SCSS respectively. CSS3 consists of a series of selectors and pseudo-selectors that group rules that apply to them. SAS extends CSS by providing several mechanisms available in more traditional programming languages, particularly object-oriented languages, but that are not available to CSS3 itself. When SAS script is interpreted, it creates blocks of CSS rules for various selectors as defined by the SAS file. The SAS interpreter translates SAS script into CSS. Alternately, SAS can monitor the SAS or SCSS file and translate it to an output CSS file whenever the SAS or SCSS file is saved. SAS is simply syntactic sugar for CSS. The official implementation of SAS is open source and coded in Ruby. However, other implementations exist, including PHP, and a high-performance implementation in C called libSASS. There's also a Java implementation called JSASS. Additionally, Viadin has a Java implementation of SAS. The indented syntax is a meta-language. SCSS is a nested meta-language, as valid CSS is valid SCSS with the same semantics. SAS supports integration with the Firefox extension Firebug. SAS script provides the following mechanisms: variables, nesting, mixins, and selector inheritance. Variables: SAS allows variables to be defined. Variables begin with a $. Variable assignment is done with a colon. SAS script supports 4 data types: numbers, strings, colors, booleans. Variables can be arguments to or results from one of several available functions. During translation, the values of the variables are inserted into the output CSS document. In SCSS style or SASS style. Would compile to. Nesting: CSS does support logical nesting, but the code blocks themselves are not nested. SAS allows the nested code to be inserted within each other. Would compile to. More complicated types of nesting including namespace nesting and parent references are discussed in the SAS documentation. Mixins: CSS does not support mixins. Any repeated code must be repeated in each location. A mixin is a section of code that contains any valid SAS code. Whenever a mixin is called, the result of translating the mixin is inserted at the calling location. Mixins allow for efficient and clean code repetitions, as well as easy alteration of code. Would compile to. Arguments: mixins also support arguments. Would compile to. In combination. Would compile to. Selector inheritance: while CSS3 supports the document object model hierarchy, it does not allow selector inheritance. Inheritance is done by inserting a line inside of a code block that uses the @extend keyword and references another selector. The extended selector's attributes are applied to the calling selector. Would compile to. SAS supports multiple inheritance. libSASS: at the 2012 HTML5 Developer Conference, Hampton Catlin, the creator of SAS, announced version 1.0 of libSASS, an open-source C++ implementation of SAS developed by Catlin, Aaron Lung, and the engineering team at MoveWeb. Current SAS maintainer, Chris Epstein, has expressed intent to contribute as well. According to Catlin, you can drop libSASS into anything and it will have SAS in it. You could drop it right into Firefox today and build Firefox and it will compile in there. We wrote our own parser from scratch to make sure that would be possible. The design goals of libsass are: performance. Developers have reported 10x speed-up increases over the Ruby implementation of Sass. Easier integration. libsass makes it easier to integrate Sass into more software. Before libsass, tightly integrating Sass into a language or software product required bundling the entire Ruby interpreter. By contrast, libsass is a statically linkable library with zero external dependencies and C-like interface, making it easy to wrap Sass directly into other programming languages and tools. For example, open-source libsass bindings now exist for Node, Go, and Ruby. Compatibility. libsass's goal is full compatibility with the official Ruby implementation of Sass. However, this goal has not yet been fully met. IDE integration. See also, LESS, stylus, references. External links, official Sass website, Haml Sass Google Group, PyS, a Python SCSS library and client, Cythemixins extension and CSS authoring framework for LESS and Sass SCSS.